YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This morning, the moment nearly a dozen gunshots were fired inside a Rhode Island hockey arena. Chaos erupting just after 2:30 Monday afternoon during a high school game in Pawtucket. Investigators looking into this video showing players still on the ice. Fans first frozen in shock, then scrambling for cover. Benches clearing as teams raced across the ice away from the gunfire.
It was a bang. I thought it was a pops. I thought it was balloons at first, but it was not balloons.
The gunman killing 2 people and critically injuring 3 others.
A Good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event.
Investigators say the shooter, identified by police as 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also went by Roberta, entered the arena carrying multiple weapons, appearing to target a family member. Police say a brave bystander was able to subdue the gunman and prevent even more bloodshed. The suspect died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His daughter telling WCVB he struggled with mental health issues. Officials confirm all student athletes were physically unharmed. Incredible video of that shooting. Authorities say the investigation is ongoing and have not released additional details about the victims. Guys.
All right. Our thanks to you, Stephanie.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Another week, another government operation revolving around a transgender shooter. Now, most people out there have a tough time believing that these events are orchestrated by the government, especially when we see all of these transgender people as the shooters, because, of course, everybody out there knows that if you're transgender, if you're deliberately bobatizing yourself and cutting off your genitalia, you are the definition of somebody who is insane. You are the definition of somebody who has mental health problems. If you walked into a town 200 years ago, dressed as the opposite gender, and you told people there that you did a procedure to remove your genitals, they would probably not only put you in a padded room, they would do a lot worse to you. It's really the definition of insanity. But we know that the government has normalized this in the year 2026 for lots of reasons. And that's why people need to understand the reasoning for it. The reasoning for it is they want you to believe these stories, and this is the only way that they can convince conservatives to go forward with red flag laws. Once the conservatives agree to the red flag laws, they will feel in their mind safer, happier, knowing that trans people can no longer buy guns. But what they don't realize is that it's a setup to get you to agree to red flag laws. And then when they flip the script and put some psychopathic Democrat like Gavin Newsom in office, they will redefine what it means to have mental health problems. They will start creating psyops and false flags where the shooters are conspiracy theorists, which we've already seen. We've seen some of these stories where conspiracy theorists are supposedly going to the NORAD, going to NEXRAD and trying to take down towers, taking down 5G towers, trying to make it sound like we're all insane. Obviously, with Pizzagate, they created a false flag around that where they had a shooter go in and shoot James Alefantis' computer. Of course, as soon as that actor was released from prison, that actor was killed by the police. What a coincidence, right? But that's the point, that the red flag laws, once they're agreed to, once they get conservatives to agree to it, and this is the only way they would agree, is if they did this with trans people and said, look, trans people have mental health problems. Everybody automatically agrees because it's true. Then the law's in place, and then they redefine what it means to have mental health problems. And of course, That'll all be turned against us, where they tell people, oh, these tinfoil hat wearers, oh, they believe in chemtrails, oh, they believe COVID was a conspiracy, oh, they believe that they're killing us with 5G radiation exposure, oh, they believe they're trying to microchip us, oh, they believe that the government is trying to build out AI governance and a technocracy, oh, this, oh, that. Do a couple of shootings around government buildings. Next thing you know, the red flag laws are for us. So, that being said, it's very hard not to laugh at the photographs that we get from this government operation, right? Mentally sick trans person, Roberta Esposito, identified as Pawtucket Arena shooting suspect. And as you saw, it took place at a hockey rink. All you heard were some gunshots, people running. Next thing you know, people are outside doing interviews. You don't see bodies. You barely see ambulances. This is their MO, and people don't want to believe it. I'm seeing way too many government operators showing up in the comment section. I know the victim. I'm friends with the victim's mom. I grew up with the victim's family. On and on. What a small world that so many of these people are on my channel. When I'm exposing these things, you get, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 views, that these are people that know the victims and know the shooters, and they want to write a 20-paragraph story underneath my video explaining that I'm wrong, that this is really happening and it's really occurring, that the government isn't acting this out. Well, of course the government is acting this out. And the government's the one responsible for the transgender epidemic. People are transgender because the government has been putting propaganda in their movies and TV shows for years, convincing people that they're born in the wrong body, having social influencers and celebrities become famous, and then tell you that you're the opposite gender, confusing everybody, confusing children, targeting children, and that's where you end up where we are now. Then, of course, politicizing it, right? Having someone like Joe Biden, who was anti-gay his entire career, having him have, LGBT pride parades on the White House front lawn to make everybody sick, gaslighting the entire country. This has all been done by design for this. So, demented dad, some of these photographs of the guy are just absolutely hilarious. Exactly what you would perceive a transgender lunatic to look like. Purple hair, right? Breast transplant. Looks like a gigantic, Amazonian dude. Literally looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter with a wig on. All these pictures, I'm laughing the entire time I'm seeing this thing go down. And then, of course, you get this one. This is the main picture that was used on the New York Post, on the major media publications, right? What do you notice here? Yes, you notice the guy with his nails, showing his nails off in front of his Harley Davidson, and you notice the black and white Masonic checkerboard right on his arm. Like I mentioned in the previous shooting a couple of days ago at Tumbler Ridge, they gave you that photograph of the kid before transitioning, eating the wings with the black and white Masonic checkerboard paper underneath. This is by design. This is their calling card. These are Freemasonic operation, the black and white duality, as above, so below. You also notice on his arm the double lightning bolt. The picture. These pictures are just too much. They really are. But here's the supposed shooter here. And again, in some of these events, there's psyops. In some of these events, there's false flags, because we know that these shooters can be activated. They're Manchurian candidates, right? But then you get events like this where you start looking at the people around the event. You just hear gunshots. It's very, very suspicious, right? But you have the lightning bolts. And again, that's a reference to Lucifer, Luke chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. So the school conveniently that was playing hockey at this ice skating rink was Coventry. Okay, Coventry, witchcraft, sorcery. What the news is witchcraft and sorcery. It is mind control. We have one of the mothers here who here shortly who had a little duping delight going on. You would think if you went to your child's sporting event and 15 gunshots rang out, or sounded like at least 12 gunshots rang out, that you'd be a little bit more upset, a little bit more fearful. But of course, these people love to run to the news to give interviews right afterwards. And this is the big one here, because we get supposedly the shooter's daughter, whose mother, who supposedly, siblings were killed, giving an interview hours later, no tears. And what does she do? Well, she wants you to know that her father had mental health problems. Those are the words. You got to get the trigger words in there. Mental health problems, right? Red flag laws. This is not normal behavior. It's not normal to have no emotion after something like this occurs, where your father has just killed himself. He's killed the mother. He's killed some kids in the family, pretty much a family massacre. And she's ready to give an interview on the news. She's not blocking the cameras, not crying, just ready to talk, right? This is not normal behavior. These are the things we need to look at when the government gives us these stories, that they're not normal behaviors. These are not how people react in traumatic situations, especially one where your mother and father are killed out of nowhere, and you're immediately just going to the news saying, my dad has mental health problems, my dad is sick. Listen to this.
Family reuniting and embracing after the traumatic experience inside of the Dennis M. Lynch Arena. Police say a gunman shot 5, killing 2 before turning the gun on himself.
My father was a shooter.
What happened?
He shot my family, and he's dead now.
This woman leaving the police station, speaking with reporters, saying her father was the one who opened fire inside of the hockey rink.
He has mental health issues.
Any idea why he would have done this?
He's sick. He's very sick.
Players, their families, and spectators bust from the scene to the Pawtucket Police Department to be interviewed by detectives. Parents with flowers, as it was senior night for Blackstone Valley.
Everybody started jumping over the bench, and it was pretty scary.
We heard the gunshots, but we didn't know what the noise was at first. After probably 4 shots, we just saw everybody hitting the ground.
Silas Core was on the bench for Coventry High School, his mother in the stands at the time.
We barricaded the locker room with our bodies. We were all pressing up against it, and everybody was, worried about our parents and everybody.
I actually got back in there to try to find out where he was, and I saw them doing CPR in the stands, and it was really disturbing.
Many leaving here tonight just wondering why.
He's just very sick. If you have a loved one who you think is sick, trust your gut.
Now, the 3 others who are wounded here are in critical condition. Pawtucket Police, the chief telling us that they do have officers here, detectives here as well, but they have not yet interviewed any of those other victims, which also speaks to the condition that they're in right now, fighting for their lives. Live here in Providence tonight, I'm Peter Leopoulos, WCVB News Center 5. Ed, to you.
Absolutely does, Peter. All right, thank you for that. And as we talk about mental health, an important reminder, there is a hotline to call if you or someone that you know needs help. It's 988. It's 988, and it operates 24/7, 3.
So again, you have to start looking at the term mental health. You have to also start looking at other things, AI-powered video surveillance. That's one of the big things here. Everybody thinks these are about massive gun grabs. They're never going to get everybody's guns. That's why they need red flag laws, and they need to bring in AI video surveillance. Well, they'll be able to see through your clothing, under your skin, what you've got on, and they'll be able to arrest you before you ever enter a building carrying a gun. This is what they want to put in schools, is what they want to put in all buildings, whether they're public buildings or it's a pizzeria in your town. This is not like a traditional metal detector, and that's why they've been showing us on the news these clips where you could see, gun in a little red box. They've been showing this more and more on the news, how these things can be detected beforehand and stopped if we actually use AI gun detection, right? Real-time gun detection. And the big thing, again, will be these red flag laws that get passed. Trump is trying to push this trans red flag law, which, of course, everybody with common sense would say it's a good thing. I'm not disagreeing, again, that trans people obviously have mental health problems. The government needs to get these laws in place, and then they'll start tinkering with the wording of who has mental health problems and who doesn't. They've already convinced people. We all were witnesses to it. We were all, during COVID, how many times did we see them mocking us on TV, calling us conspiracy theorists, saying we're weird because we wouldn't put poison in our bodies? Meanwhile, all of these people have gotten cancer. They've gotten enlarged hearts. Most of them have actually died. They never came out and said, oh, those people were right. All those people were saying that we were crazy, and they still are. So all they have to do is put some radical liberal in power, and that's exactly what will occur. Trump is moving forward with banning trans people from owning guns. And again, it might sound good. It might sound like it makes sense, but this will be used against all of us. So Robert Dorgan, underwent his gender reassignment surgery. Of course he did. And then you look at the response of people out there, right? There's somebody online, Robert Dorgan's threat to go crazy was ignored by the system. And now 2 families are destroyed. A high school hockey game was supposed to be a safe haven, not a battlefield. Now it's time to solve the real problem. So we have people now, problem, reaction, solution, who want all trans people to lose their rights to own guns. And again, they're not thinking long term of how that will be used against them, especially if you're somebody who questions the government or questions the coming climate laws that they're going to put in place that are going to make us live exactly like we did during COVID. You got people like Matt Walsh, who is another alt-right media puppet that they put in there. I get it. People like Matt Walsh's documentaries, they get a good laugh at it because he makes fun of the trans people. But these are people who are convincing you that things need to be done like red flag laws without warning you that they could be turned on you in the future, right? Everything I've said about trans people for the past 10 years has been absolutely correct and totally vindicated. Now I'm telling you that the trans violence we've seen so far is nothing compared to what's coming if we don't treat trans ideology as a severe public safety hazard. And I love how none of these people blame who's really responsible, which is the government. The government, the media influencers, the news, celebrities, all pushing this on the children. Okay? All reprehensible demons who have been pushing this on confused young children. They put these characters in the movies. They put these characters in the cartoons. That's how it works. Okay? There's a reason that so many people are gay now. Just like there's a reason so many people are trans now. It's because of mind control. Okay? They didn't just bravely come out of the closet after the Ellen DeGeneres show. They've been planting characters. They've been sexualizing the gender. Like, for example, if it's a show that they know it's a large male demographic, they're putting gay characters in there, or they're putting straight characters in there who have, gay tendencies, or their shirts are off together and they're touching one another, and it's all subtle. That's what they do. And they do it over and over and over and over, and they've been doing it. That's why they call TV programming, because they're programming you. And the last thing with the shooter, Robert Dorgan, was he threatened to go berserk in online rants, right? Does that sound familiar? He has deranged social media rants. He was going after Kevin Sorbo, which I always get a kick out of these D-level actors that are in the Republican MAGA thing, like Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo, Superman and Hercules. It's really cringy. But keep bashing us. But do not wonder why we go berserk, right? Remember this a week ago? The same exact thing with the shooter, the supposed shooter at the Tumbler Ridge School in Canada. What was his online footprint? They let us know that he was online, talking about shooting up malls and playing video games, talking with trans ideologies. And again, it's all about this. If you haven't seen this clip, pay attention, because they're preparing you for pre-crime. And it might sound good now when you hear about lunatic trans people, but remember, they're going to convince everybody that you and me are the real lunatics in the future.
The First Lady Melania Trump just called for more, and this is quoting here, preemptive intervention when it comes to IDing school shooters. It's kind of your bailiwick, Aaron.
Trace, as you know, correct, 100%, and she's 100% correct. I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform, built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks.
Would it have picked up on this, do you think?
100%. I wish my program would already be up. We're not launching until next week. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just unloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
Imagine a world without murder.
I lost my best friend.
I lost my aunt.
I lost my dad. I lost my father.
I lost my wife. Just 6 years ago, the homicide rate in this country had reached epidemic proportions. It seemed that only a miracle could stop the bloodshed. But instead of one miracle, we were given 3, the precognitives. Within just 1 month under the pre-crime program, the murder rate in the District of Columbia was reduced 90%.
They were going to be waiting for me in the car.
He was going to rape me.
I was going to be stabbed.
Right here. Within a year, pre-crime effectively stopped murder in our nation's capital.
In the 6 years we've been conducting our little experiment, there hasn't been a single murder.
And now pre-crime can work for you.
We want to make absolutely certain that every American can bank on the utter infallibility of this system, and to ensure that what keeps us safe will also keep us free.
Pre-crime? It works.
It works.
It works.
It works.
It works. It works.
On Tuesday, April 22nd, vote yes on the National Pre-Crime Initiative.
So that's what they want to bring in. They want to bring in pre-crime. They want to bring in AI algorithms that'll detect beforehand if you're a threat. And they're going to tell people, oh, people who listen to conspiracy channels are a real threat. Oh, studies show that people who listen to conspiracy channels are likely to commit an act of violence against somebody. Oh, day in and day out until these people believe it as true, and they'll look at me and you as criminals that need to be arrested before any crime is committed because of our ideologies. Our ideologies are dangerous. Questioning the government's dangerous, right? Homeland Security's pre-crime push is already underway. I talked about Melania Trump's preemptive intervention in identifying potential school shooters. It's all about AI governments, ladies and gentlemen. And the PSYOPs these events, the pictures they give us of the shooter, like, look at this. I mean, Dorgan was the father of a North Pro. Like, look how he poses with the hair. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, literally, it looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter, right? Yes, and he decided to go to the hockey game of all places to start shooting, right? What's his motive? His motive that he's angry. He's an angry trans person. You never need a motive. You never get a real motive. Could have killed his family at his home, but he did it at a hockey game, right? Okay, sure. Everybody believes it, and then everybody goes, what? We need to do something about it. We need red flag laws. Problem, reaction, solution. That's how your government works. That's why these stories are so similar. You're going to continue to hear trans shooters on the left, right? And then any type of shooter that might come from the right will be some type of MAGA guy who's targeting somebody who is LGBTQ or is Latino, whatever. It's just so clear to see. They were doing it the other way for 4 years. Now they flipped the switch on what a domestic terrorist is, right? Now it's all trans people who are domestic terrorists. 4 years ago, we were looked at as domestic terrorists. And I'm not MAGA. I don't vote. But anybody who was a conspiracy theorist was looked at as a domestic threat. They took our right to speak away online. If you even gave any facts about COVID, you were considered a tinfoil hat. You were considered dangerous. Oh, anybody who's anti-vax is dangerous. They're costing people lives is what the government told us, right? They're switching it back and forth. It's the seesaw effect. And eventually, these red flag laws will be used to cancel all of us out. I thank you for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.